This is Me Productions, bring you another video game review. And in this video, I'll be reviewing Deathloop. Deathloop is developed by Arkane Studios and is published by Bethesda Softworks. This known developer of Arkane is best known for their Honored series and Prey. And pretty much this game is played just as much as those games as well through gameplay and aesthetic. And in this Deathloop, it takes on the concept of the time loop very seriously into the fabric of its narrative and also how you progress the game as well. Players play as Colt, a highly trained mercenary and security personnel on the island of Black Reef. And he is labeled a traitor amongst his peers, which he is now trapped in an ever-going long day on this island because of the machine that is encapsulated all of Black Reef in an ever-long time loop. The day is broken into 4 parts from morning, noon, afternoon, and evening, and he has to find a way to break it, or he very much suffer the same consequences of this very Groundhog Day scenario. The mere fact that he finds out that in this early game playthrough that in order way for him to actually successfully break this loop is that he has to go out and find and kill these 7 visionaries, and have to figure out a way in a specific sequence of how to do it. But he is confronted time and time again by an adversary known as Juliana, who is in favor of this loop. And pretty much everybody who occupies the island but cult, there is like this cult-like mentality of preserving this status quo. So it's a cat and mouse game of who is going to come on top in this ever-long day that always starts and ends almost exactly as it plays out. Now the game has a very vibrant and very creative tone, as it is set in the very stylized 1960s, and it's very much in line with the sci-fi spy adventure thrillers of that era. The main character of Colt, voiced by Jason E. Kelly, does a really magnificent job with encapsulating a very expressive character as well as he traverses through the game, giving very quick-witted commentary on this whole scenario. Opposite of Colt is Juliana, who is played by Ozuyama Okaga, and who is sharp-witted in her dialogue as well, very much giving some very adversarial vibes, as like you do sense the very history that these two might have had. Given the fact that Colt, due to the time loop, he is prone to, like many of the other occupants of the Black Reef, who suffers through a sense of amnesia of sorts. And as you play along the game, you'll be able to find like bits and pieces of the history and the relationships amongst the characters. Like the 7 visionaries that you are tasked of like taking care of in the game. I'm sad to say that there's not much of the characterizations are expressed, especially since almost like at least through my playthrough, when you come across them, it's very much that you are out to kill them. So it's very short interactions. You get some bits and pieces about who they were before or prior to the time loop scenario, but with very little interaction that I'm pretty sure most players will go through, it's not very much that you get a sense of the characters or sense of development, especially since so much that what you find out is not necessarily, it's not even like through cutscenes or not, it's like just through documents or videotapes. Like the voice actors do a good job of expressing the individual personalities, but I wish that there could have been more with, at least with the 7 Visionaries. But Juliana and Colt are very solid characters throughout this game. Now the gameplay, like I said, the concept of the time loop is very ingrained in how you progress. And since the game is divided into 4 parts of the day, the game is also set up in which you explore 4 parts of the island of Black Reef. The type of game this is a first-person, expansive linear experience. I say linear because it's a linear. You go throughout the day, as like traditionally, like how in real life, from morning to evening. But it's expansive to a sense because you choose different parts of the island on a very given part of the day, and you can like once you play pick this part of the island, it's like its own little mini open world experience in of itself until you finish your mission and go back to your hiding spot and progress through the day, and then you enter in another part of the island on a different section of the day. Now, depending on the time and day, and time, place, and where is one individual type of visionary. And as you play the game, you have to find different clues of how you're going to enact your plan. So a lot of times you come across videotapes, documents, whispers or dialogue from the other NPCs that get you know the behaviors or patterns of the visionaries that you are hunting down. And it's very key to explore because you never know what type of ways in which you can exploit these matters into your own hands. You can find out very creative ways of how you handle the visionaries through this method. And even though you can either do stealth, which is a very prime key factor into a lot of the type of games that Arkane Studios is known for, whether it's Dishonored and Prey, or you can just go guns and blades. And part of the game play is that with this first-person perspective, you have your right hand, your left hand, which you can carry your equipment at your disposal. Your right hand is mostly your right hand holds most of your guns, your handguns, shotguns, rifles, and all that types of assortments. Which there was a rocket launcher, but I guess that would be just too dang easy. You also is wielded a machete, which does some very minor melee type actions, but machete is good for stealth kills or like some hack and slash scenarios, which you don't want to like cause any sounding alarms to alert enemy types if you're just using the gun. The left hand holds other aspects on your person, like some grenades, and once you get them, able to have them. A transmitter that you get early in the game. The transmitter allows you to hack mines or the doors that won't open, or so you can progress, navigate your way without causing any other alarms or stumble upon traps that you can also use against the enemies at your disposal. Other parts of the gameplay that allows you to use that's also within your left hand hemisphere are the use of slabs. Now slabs are basically just super genetically engineered special powers that players are able to equip once they absorb and beat after you kill a visionary or you come across Juliana at your wake. And it ranges from abilities from the Nexus of a favorite of mine, which you can link NPCs together and basically kill them kill birds with one stone. The shift is like a teleporting method, so you can use those for help navigate like small little platforming sections or to get away from the enemy as fast as you can. A rage slab, as well as a carnesis, so it's like your typical telekinetic abilities. Sometimes you come and go part into later to the game in which you're able to infuse these weapons or slabs, or sometimes trinkets, which are also augmentations or little hacks that you can do with your guns, or your person, or for the durability, hacking skills, increasing the size of your magazine through these trinkets that you get after you kill an enemy and you can equip it. Thing is, like, as you progress against the game, you'll find earlier on before you be able to infuse them, which means that you can keep these weapons after the whole day is done, because like through the time loop concept, it starts all over, and a lot of times if you do not infuse an object, you won't keep it, and you have to like go all throughout the game trying to get these equipments again. Part of the ways in which you can infuse them is that you absorb residual, in which it's basically this time space like substance that you can absorb, and the more you absorb, the more that you are able to kind of spend in the inventory section, or the loadout, in which you can infuse the objects or trinkets or slabs so you can keep it for your long playthrough.
The game also has a multiplayer component where players are allowed to play as Juliana. She roughly has the same type of control scheme as Colt, but she does have her own personalized slab, in which is called a masquerade, that allows her to take on the appearance of any type of NPC near the players. Then this multiplayer section, she is tasked to basically take down and hunt down Colt. She was able to set up traps and basically prepare herself so that she can go around and kill Colt from any type of players given playthrough.
The game's presentation, as I said, is set in the 1960s, and the art direction is very much stylized in the very vintage, animated, art direction that the game is going for. The music, very jazzy or very like upbeat and kinetic orchestral arrangements help give off this very fantasized version of the 1960s. The time loop, the concept, like it gets, it's very down to the T, to the point that when you traverse the game, it's very much like a lot of the NPCs. They are in the same spots in the same situation. A lot of the same dialogue is presented, and it's very takes the very idea of a video game, which you like once you fail a mission, you go right back to the beginning to do something. It's just that the time loop scenario is very much is part of the narrative, and they take it seriously to the point that it's almost like a meta commentary on that regard. So in ways, the game is also like a satire. I find that this game is still an overall great experience with this very meta commentary on this whole situation. A lot of the voice actors do well with their personalities, especially with the two lead roles of Colt and Juliana. Those two pretty much make the game as its own. Also, with the presentation that since it's a time loop, expect multiple endings if you were to be able to play through this multiple times. So yeah, there you have it, my review for Deathloop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and comment below what is your familiarity with the Arkane Studios or other game like it. This is my first time playing one of their games developed, as it does some of the gameplay is also familiar with a much more prior game for a different studio, 2K games, with Bioshock, which is pretty much one of the best games of all time. But Deathloop is its own flavor. It has its own flavor as well. But yeah, if you like more content like this, also venture out to our social media outlets of Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to see other content that we don't have much time on this channel to discuss or explore. Again, my name is Adam. See ya.